Talking all things entertainment, this is Sherri Pullum in the studio with Dreamers Unite. Let's jazz it up with saxophonist André Ward.
Hey Dreamers, and welcome back to In the Studio with Dreamers Unite. I am super excited as always to be here with you, and I hope you feel the same way. Well, today I am going to chat with the critically acclaimed, the smooth jazz saxophonist himself, André Ward. I am a huge fan, and I'm going to stop all this talking and bring him on. So without further ado, André Ward. André, welcome to In the Studio with Dreamers Unite. It is such a pleasure and an honor to have you here, really, truly. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure for me to be here, and thank you for allowing me some time on your platform.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, listen, Dreamers, we were already kind of getting into a conversation, and I'm like, oh my goodness, we've got to hurry up and get this stuff to you because we were getting ready to go deep in some conversation for you, Dreamers. So let's start with, your beginnings. You're from the Windy City, Chicago, yeah?
Yes.
And how did that influence you, your love of jazz? And how did you find the saxophone?
Chicago, the Windy City. Very humble background. I was very fortunate. My parents allowed us, my siblings and I, to go and experience different things, find out who we are, some of the things that we enjoy. And so, we did the sports and all of those types of things. But I was fortunate to, at that time in Chicago, there was a thriving after-school music program. And so I was able to participate in it and started actually playing the drums. And then I went to the trumpet, and even the program allowed us to try different instruments because you're still trying to find yourself. But it wasn't until I picked up the saxophone that I felt there was a marriage there. I said, oh, this is it. I found that happy place, that happy space. And I continue today to try to learn and grow and stay connected with the instrument. So it was truly a blessing for those opportunities during that time.
Yeah, and I understand we've got something in common, like Earth, Wind, and Fire. You're a lover of their music and inspired by them. So tell us a little bit about that.
So, and it could be a little biased because they are, originally from the Windy City.
Yeah.
But, what really gravitates me towards Earth, Wind, and Fire, is the amazing arrangements, the composing, the songwriting, but most importantly, that whole emotional spirit that their music would convey. I mean, when you, first of all, when you look at their CD/album covers, it had a message within itself. But then when you listen to the music, it just, Sherri, it would take you on that musical journey spiritually, and then it would just take you there. And so it's something that I was connected to, and I've always felt strongly about taking some of those elements and making sure that they're in my production, because I want to make sure that I can produce music, create music from the heart and soul. So therefore the listeners can go on that journey and feel the music.
Yeah, well,
but a great group. What a fantastic group.
What a fantastic. Listen, if I had some pipes, I'd try to maybe sing a little bit, but I don't think so. I don't want anybody to go away. Don't go away, Dreamers. So you worked with, some of the greats, right? Too, Lalah Hathaway and Freddie Jackson, Will Downing. And how did all that come about to have these collaborations? How did that come about for you?
So with Lalah Hathaway, we was at Berklee College of Music together, and Lalah was in the process of of going out and to tour on some of her earlier works. And, she actually used a lot of the, not a lot of, I think she used the whole band of us from Berklee, mostly students at the time, to
Wow.
go out and help promote her first project. But, for me, spending some time in New York, going to sitting in different clubs, really just trying to work the scene, allowed me to be heard in different venues. And from there, started making connections. And I was in one club, and Freddie Jackson's musical director at the time heard me and invited me to join the band. And from there, just once you get in the scene and you start working, and you're working hard and trying to make sure you're staying professional and on time and learning the material. I was blessed and fortunate enough that my phone was starting to ring, and from there with Will Downing, and just kind of stayed on the circuit as a touring musician with a lot of different artists. But I would add that none of this happens without, there's no I in team. None of this happens without some support systems. And I just want to give a shout out. Melba Moore has been, I mean, what an icon, Broadway and
Mm.
Tony Award, but she's been very instrumental. And it's just kind of being there that I can kind of lean on and get some of that expertise. And Valerie Simpson of Ashford and Simpson, she said something to me that resonated, and it really gave me a drive and motivation. She said, Andre, what I hear in your playing is not just you playing the saxophone, but you're singing through it. And
Hmm.
and that meant a lot to me, because I would always listen to jazz vocalists like Sarah Vaughan, Ella Fitzgerald, because I wanted to be able to sing and scat like them while playing the saxophone. So to hear that from someone with the musical level that she has was very instrumental. And so those just having them there to lean on was definitely a push and motivation for me as well. So I just wanted to give a shout out because
That's a
they've been very
well,
instrumental.
not to cut you off, but
Yeah.
that is a well-deserved shout out.
Yeah.
All those shout outs are well-deserved. You talk about, the hard work and being at the right place at the right time. But I also want to give you a shout out for the amazing talent that you have
Thank you.
and the amazing gift that you have.
Thank you. And I appreciate it. I also truly believe that we all have a talent within us. How do we use that talent to continue on is important, Africa Rising, the new project right now that I have out, as we look, as I'm creating this music and the journey, Africa Rising is really about celebrating the resilience and strength of all African cultures, first of all, but it's also about us rising and working together to empower and support Black and Brown excellence. And it's about giving back. It's a cycle. And you and I are having this conversation because we've had role models or opportunities given to us while we was growing up. And we have to continue that. So I truly believe in just giving back. And, the whole thought process of Africa Rising is to take everyone on that musical journey, but it's also about the musical message of giving back.
Oh, that's beautiful. I have been listening to your music like all morning, and certainly have been a fan for quite some time. So again, it's just such an honor and really a privilege to be here. So Africa Rising, let's talk a little bit more about that, because that was going to be my very next question.
Hey, I'm sorry I jumped the gun.
No, I'm glad you did jump the gun. You were right. We were like this, Andre. We're here.
We're there.
We're right here.
You know,
Um,
if the listeners would have heard some of our conversation before going on, they would know that we're already here.
we listen, dreamers. I'm talking to you now, dreamers, right here in the camera and right here in the camera. André Ward and I, Sherri Pullum, we are here. And now we're talking about Africa Rising. And I want to dig a little bit deeper into the inspiration behind it. And I heard that COVID was a time that you really started putting this project together. So talk about that.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've all was dealing with COVID. We had no blueprint as to how to navigate through it. We were all just trying to figure it out. I say, we were kind of flying the plane and not knowing how to land the plane. But it was interesting because as a musician, you want your music to reflect your life experiences, and you can't write a ballad if you've never been in love, or the feelings have to be there. Every musician, songwriter, it comes through your music. And so working on this project during COVID, it was fairly new because here you are kind of locked in, and a lot of your life experiences comes from being out, interacting with others, traveling, seeing, different wonders of the world in your eyes, and not having that. So, you had to really dig into your inner self.
Mm-hmm.
And that made it so special to me because not only was I digging into myself, because you couldn't do all these things that we would normally do to grab this inspiration, but there was more time to even take a deeper dive and make that spiritual connection. And
Mm-hmm.
so that piece led us, because again, there's no I in team, to really, work on what is the message that we wanted for Africa Rising, and what is the musical journey, and where's that spiritual connection, quote unquote, earth, wind, and fire. Where is that connection, and how do we convey this musically? And so even strategically, when looking at all the ingredients for this project, Chantel Hampton, with great vocal, Janice Dempsey, Kajan, these vocalists that we brought on the project was strategically done because of their very unique sound and what we wanted to create to really produce it. And this was all through the window of COVID, because even doing that, as we're talking through, technology, it's like, this is what we're going for. Now give us this vibe. And we're all kind of working through the technology through COVID. So it was a very special project. It was very different, very difficult, because, I love being in the studio, with different artists and really building off of that and learning. But there was a deeper inspiration spiritually with this project, because it was done during a very, I would call it, gray time
Mm-hmm.
for all of us, because we was navigating through COVID. And unfortunately, a lot of transition happened during COVID, and it made us wake up and realize you got to give your flowers while we can.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? Anyone, if you haven't, where can people find it? Because I've been enjoying it, Africa Rising, and you can feel that spiritual connection.
So
So mission
it's on
accomplished.
all streaming platforms. But hopefully when you take that listen, that you can also feel the journey, the musical journey that we're taking everyone on.
Yeah, and it's so interesting that you say that too, because it's a musical journey. And when I was listening to, I could feel like a life journey.
Yeah, we wanted to have something for everyone. We like to say, anyone from 28 to 80 can enjoy. So, there's we our approach was, listen, if you're driving in the car, if you're cleaning the house, if you're having a barbecue in the backyard, if
Yes.
you're just having a glass of wine and winding down, there is something on here. So we wanted to make sure that that particular musical journey, wherever you were for that day or wherever you are in your life, that there was something on there to that you could relate to.
Absolutely. And don't let me leave out the joy, because I
Yeah.
definitely, it's a joyful ride. Okay. You talked about your mentors too. And so you're a mentor. And this show is all about, for dreamers and having a dream, but not just dreaming, but also being able to turn that dream into a reality. And it's stories like yours, from our guests that help people do that. So what maybe offering can you give, maybe to a student that really is interested in playing maybe the sax, you play other instruments as well, but maybe just another who's a musician?
Yeah.
And what would you kind of tell them?
Well, first of all, yes, we all are dreamers because your goal, your passion, your vision, it all starts with a dream. And within that dream, what I would say to students is that you have to dream, but you also have to believe. And if you believe, and then you truly believe, and you put the work in, you put the effort in, you put the passion in, and you understand that there's going to be some sacrifices. You're not going to just dream this big dream and just get there without there being some struggles, which, by the way, Sherri, I think in our life journeys, that failure sometimes is good for us. It makes us stronger. It makes us more resilient. It makes us who we are as a person, our character, to get up and say, hey, I went through this and now, it's made us stronger. And so I would tell students, to make sure that you can believe, but don't be afraid to fail. Don't look at failure as something that is, it's just the worst thing, because every opportunity is an opportunity that we learn from, and it makes us who we are. So staying really focused on your dream, but really believing, and don't be afraid to, let me just put it this way, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. You don't know this, Andre. Catch a lot of nuggets. Okay. Here comes a nugget moment. This is big. This is
I'm
huge.
ready.
Because you
Should I take
said
a
a
drink of
lot
water?
here. You said a lot. We're going to take it up. So listen here, people, dreamers. And as Andre and I talked about, even offline, everyone, and I've said it so many times, everyone is a dreamer.
Yeah.
Everyone. So do not just put yourself in a category. No, I'm not, because you are a dreamer. But as Andre says, it's not just about dreaming. It's also about what, Andre?
Believing.
Believing.
Yes.
Believing that it's possible and not running away from the hard work, right? Because a dream will stay just that if you don't put some action behind it. And then when you do put action behind it, do not be afraid to make a mistake, right? And we can say, hey, a failure, but you can fail forward. And that is only helping you to learn a lesson. Yes. Andre.
Well said.
Catching it.
Well
I'm doing this with two hands. Okay.
Well said.
Look, dreamers, boom, boom. One from me, one from Andre. There's your huge nugget. Really, that is, I just think people need to hear that more and more and more. And thank you so much for that. Yeah.
And don't be afraid to, learn from our mistakes. And that's what it's all about. We continue to grow. There's always room for improvement. I continue to listen to some of the great jazz players that I'm standing on the shoulders of. And it reminds me, oh, wow, the goalpost is a little further down. I have to stay hungry. You listen to those greats like Charlie Parker and Sonny Stitt and Cannonball Adderley, and I'm talking about some of the traditional jazz saxophonists. But, it's a wake-up call that the bar is high and I have to keep striving.
Yeah, you have to keep striving. And I love the fact that as you said, you're not just satisfied in saying, oh, I know it all, I've got it all. You're still practicing, you're still learning, you're still growing. And speaking of practicing, I want to get on that side too for parents. Okay, parents, now I'm going to specifically talk to you because we all know that parents really they can foster and nurture a dream. For parents, I'm going to say it, you can be a dream killer or a dream stealer. And so, what's the balance as they find someone? You're so talented, right? And they find like not an André Ward, but someone with a big talent like yours. And what's the balance for parents to not push too much, but also, like you said, you have to have the hard work, you have to practice after all. So, what kind of, I would like to say offering, I stopped saying advice a long time ago, but what offering could you give a parent?
Well, first, I would say, because your child is an individual, so you got to let he or she be absolutely that. And you're right, there are so many times when parents will live through their children, like, oh, always wanted to do this, and you're good at it, so we're going to push you in that way. But then the child is miserable because he or she may not want to be, an attorney or something that you may have wanted to be with your dream, or that you are an attorney and now you want, your children to be. But, let them be who they are, But as a parent, we have to guide. We don't want to just tell our children what to do, but we have to be there to guide them. Because again, part of life is that you're going to make some mistakes, but we learn from those mistakes. And so I would just tell parents, let the students be who they are. Don't try to push them into something. If you feel that you see that they're passionate about something, and then engage in that with them, just to keep them motivated and keep them engaged. But it is very crucial that the parents find that balance and make sure that they're being supportive, but also guiding at the same time.
Oh, I love it. Okay, parents, just a quick little nugget for you. Be supportive, be guiding, but let your child be who they are. Specifically for you, parents, boom, little nugget, just another one. Can't get too.
We're throwing the nuggets out there.
Yeah, you got to
catch a couple myself.
Yeah, listen, I'm catching them from you too. We can't get enough nuggets, really. Like you said, we need to stay curious, be curious learners. So I could talk to you literally, André, like another 2 hours. I'm sure you don't have the time to stay that long, but I love to continue our conversation offline again at some other point.
I appreciate that. And I think that I would enjoy that.
I would too. And so I saw on your IG that you are reimagining jazz with a flair. What does that vision mean for you as looking forward to the future?
So I started with traditional jazz music, but I love R&B. I love some Bach and Beethoven, classical. I love hip hop. I love country music. I love rock. I say that to say that for me, the best musician I can be with a well-versed vocabulary is to engage myself in multiple genres. Mm-hmm. Now, you have some that might say, this is all I'm into, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, reimagining what a jazz saxophonist, or reimagining what the sound that I'm visioning, is all of these different musical elements coming through my playing, coming through my performance. And it makes me who I am as a musician. And I just cherish that, because all the musical genres has something to offer. And so it's just really creating a different flair, and it's really infusing all of the different genres that I truly enjoy. I love a cup of coffee listening to the London Symphony, but at the same time, I can put on some hip hop and be just as comfortable.
That is beautiful. Well, we look forward, and I look forward to your musical legacy continuing. and what you have that's new coming. And just tell us one more time about Africa Rising. And I'm not letting you out of here yet, Andre.
Okay.
I do want to tell them again one more time about Africa Rising before we go on to our next segment. There's someone that has a question for you. Her name is Nicole, and we're going to let you take that. So tell us a
Okay.
little bit about Africa Rising
Well,
again.
just first of all, Africa Rising is available on all streaming platforms. And you can keep up with me on Instagram and Facebook at André Ward Music. But really, that Africa Rising is about that journey of celebrating the resilience and strength of all cultures, but really rising and working together to empower Black and Brown excellence.
I love it. Well, there's some Black excellence right here on Dreamers Unite. So we are moving on to our next segment. We are our question and answer up next. Question for you, Andre. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, this question is from Nicole. So let's cue it up, team, and let's hear her question.
Hi, Andre. My question for you is, when hearing the quote, "If the plan doesn't work, change the plan, but never the goal," how many plans would you say you have changed on your road to success?
Well, thank you for the question, Nicole. And I would say, through life experiences, and you're always going to have life challenges, I've altered, the plans, but I kept a laser focus on the goal at hand. But yeah, you have to pivot sometime. Life throws us situations where we have to pivot. Prime example, COVID. We all had to immediately pivot and not just, we had to figure it out. Again, we had no blueprint, but we had to figure it out. So as part of that life journey, yeah, I've changed courses a number of times, but it again makes us who we are, and build our character.
Thank you so much. And I was just thinking when you said pivot, that was the word. That was not only a word, but the value. Like we all needed to pivot
Yes.
during COVID. Thank you so much, Andre, for answering that question. Nicole, I hope that you enjoyed that answer. And thank you, Andre, again, for taking your time to answer it. So we're moving on to our next segment. Andre, we're going on to the Dream Game. Yes,
Oh,
are you ready?
hey, I've been having fun. So now this is when the other fun starts?
This is when even more fun, not other.
More
This
fun.
is when more fun happens.
Hey.
Okay, so Dream Game up next. Yes, I have been having so much fun. We just said, we're having fun, but now it's time to up it. And we're going to have even more fun, dreamers, even more fun. So, okay, this is a dream game. So you no need to get nervous about it because it's no trick questions.
Sherri, we're going to have to get you some theme music for your game. So when you're getting ready to do your game and the dream game theme music comes on. So right now we can do a drum roll, but that's what we got to do.
Okay, wait a minute, Andre. So don't
listen. We're here.
I want you to say this to everybody because I want to hear. Andre, are you gonna do something for us for a theme song?
We got to get you. We got. Well, we want to see.
Are you hearing something in your head? Are you
vibe.
getting inspiration?
Well, I'm not as of yet because I don't know the game. This is the first time. But once I experience it, I might come up with something. But as I'm thinking, when you're going through your segment and you're getting ready to do the dream game, have your little, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 second theme music. It's just a thought.
Oh no, it's not just a thought. Okay, let me tell you something.
Let's go. What's the game?
Okay, this is not just a thought. This is going to happen. We're going to make that manifest. Andre, now you just unleashed something right now. You just unleashed something. Okay, we are going to have a little André Ward, a little something in the middle of our dream game or leading into it. Okay, here's your first question. I know that you mentioned that you were young when you found the saxophone. Are you living your childhood dream? Are you living it?
I am living. Yes, I would say I'm living the dream because you know, I feel when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
Mm.
And I just love and so thankful and blessed that I have the opportunity to share the gift. So it's a dream, but I'm humbled and hungry where I there's still so much work to do. So, I am living that dream, but just so much more that I would like to accomplish, um, while I can and while we're able to. So, yes, I would say that I am living that dream.
Okay, so that's beautiful. That wasn't too hard, right? Not too
No,
challenging. Okay, so your next question is
they're going to
yeah,
get harder though, right?
it's gonna get a little harder with this one. This one's
I figured that.
yeah, this is a little bit tougher because we're gonna talk about distractions and what uh challenges us, right? Because listen, life's journey is not all roses, right?
Mhm.
So what was one of your toughest sort of obstacles or challenges, and how did you overcome it?
Let me tell you, full transparency. So, I'm from Chicago, grew up on the west side of Chicago, and as any very large urban city, um, you have your you have everything. There could be drugs, alcohol, crime, X, Y, and Z, and so one of the challenges for me, very young, was making sure that I can make the right choices, because we can make choices that affect us throughout life,
Yeah.
and all those elements was around me growing up on the west side of Chicago. Um, they were there. They were there, and I'm again blessed and thankful that I was able to stay focused, not engage and indulge in some of those things at that time that could have altered this conversation right now.
Sure.
So yes, that was a big distraction, because definitely when you're going through high school, there's everything in front of you. You're trying to experience things, and so really to stay focused through some of those times, and that's what life is. Life is going to challenge you, and you have to know who you are and what's your goal, and is this particular thing going to alter or help your goal. And so just to make those life decisions. So yeah, that was challenging, but again, we made some of the right choices, and this is why we're here today.
Wow, that's
I was
amazing.
dreaming. I was dreaming at that time. So my dream was, nope, I needed to get here. And had I did some of those things during that time, it definitely would have altered my dream.
Yeah, and so your dream sounds like too, it was part of you staying. I'm sure there was many other elements that helped you to stay focused or other
Mhm.
reasons or the why, but it seems like your dream really was a driving force that helped you to be clear and stay focused.
That is correct. And there's definitely, I had my parents kept us grounded. I had mentors. We had the after school programs. We had the sports. So there were things that definitely helped occupy the time. But once I got into music, I was all about trying to practice and get better. And so, I would stay in practicing, and some of my friends would be out, you know, doing their thing, and it's all good. But no, I was not one to really hang out during that time. I'm okay with being a homebody practicing, doing, because that's where I am. That's my happy place.
Yeah, well, we're grateful that that was and still is your happy place. Okay, next question. Um, how do you take care of, we talked about you and I
Mhm.
offline about taking care of ourselves because I'm a huge advocate of self-care and
Mhm.
self-love and taking good care of ourselves. So how do you take care of not just your saxophone instrument, but how do you take care of your instrument, your body?
And Sherri, that's so important with the self care, especially with the conversations around mental health so much these days, that we have to make sure we can disconnect. And so what I do is, so I don't exercise every day, but I do try to just make sure that I can work on my diaphragm, so I can make sure that my breathing is okay. I do a very good job at eating correctly, or eating okay. I don't say because every now and then you kind of jump over the fence and then you can jump back. Um, but really stand focused on that. But also when we talk about that, and that's the physical piece, but mentally, surrounding yourself around positive people, but love, you know, um, love is so powerful because love can get you through so many things, but having that in your life to where you're giving back and receiving it is just so powerful from a mental perspective, in addition to surrounding yourself with positive individuals who has a drive and a dream as well, because they can also push you, to help you reach that dream. So yeah, that's what I would say to that.
That's beautiful. Well, you're just such a genius because you already had the next question.
Mhm.
In a way, this is a great transition into this question. Is if you were to say you're getting, this is where your music is going to come in again, you're getting a Dreamers Unite award. I think it's really important that we thank people now and while we can. So who would you like to thank?
Well, I would absolutely, you know, thank my parents, because without that foundation, them instilling in me those life values that I still carry with me today. Um, Also being a spiritual person that believes that I have this gift that I know can be taken at any time, but I have this gift to use to give, hopefully, individuals that happy place if they're sad, or I need a pickup. Music is there. Um, it, it's just having the opportunity to really be thankful. And so yeah, I would have to really, I mean, of course the list can go on and on and on, but if I really wanted to start from the foundation, I really have to say my parents. My mother would go around and play gospel music, and gospel music to me is the foundation of all music. I don't care if you're playing country, western,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't look at it from those lens, then you got to look at gospel music as from the lens of it is going to give you that feel, that soul. It's going to touch you. And so that also inspired me when I would have my saxophone and listening to the gospel music and then trying to sing and emulate. And when I think about some of the later comments that came, like from Valerie, it just kind of, validated that, boy, those times were so important in my life that shaped who I am today. And I wouldn't take it back, even some of those struggles of growing up on the west side of Chicago. Um, but there's struggles in every city. But we had our struggles there, but we also had opportunities. And
Yes.
so I think it makes us who we are. But yeah, I would have to thank my parents first and foremost. Now, as that continue, you have to, you have to thank those who are in your life every day, because each of us individuals, some days I have bad days, some days I have good days. And so having that person around you that can understand and be there and always have your back is extremely important as well.
Yeah, that is beautiful. And now you had an opportunity to give those flowers right now while people can still receive them and appreciate them. Last question for you. Because here at Dreamers Unite, this is a community of dreaming, and it's also a community where we want to affirm with you. I think there's power in numbers. There's
Mhm.
power in numbers. So what's you talked about in the beginning, there's so much on the horizon that you want to accomplish. Tell us a dream project that you'd like to do on the horizon, and we'll affirm it with you.
Well, I would like to, as my career continue to grow, I would like to have the André Ward Foundation where, we can get donors to help and support the arts for students in areas who may not have the opportunity. Again, I'm sitting here because there was an after school program that if it wasn't for that, I'm not sure if I would have picked up an instrument. And so really being able to come full circle and give back, it is something that I have looked into, and that is, a dream of mine. So where hopefully before it's all said and done, before my name get called and he tells me to come home, that I want to open, I want to have a foundation to really help those students in some of the needy areas, urban areas, and provide some musical outlets, whether it's a program or musical instruments. And I have to say that's closer, as I'm saying this, is close because I've already looked into it. We're putting some things in place. We talked to an attorney about the nonprofit. And so we're looking into that, but that is something that I would really like. And when I do this, not when I decide to leave, but when it's decided for me, that legacy is there to where, I'm providing some instruments and the arts for some students.
Oh, beautiful. André Ward Foundation. Is that the name of it?
Well, André Ward Music Foundation.
André Ward Music Foundation. It is so, it is done. We claim it.
Yep.
And the next time when you come, because I'm already claiming a next time for you to come visit.
Absolutely.
So much more to talk about. This was just literally, we only scratched the surface.
Yeah.
André, really and truly, I cannot thank you enough. What a pleasant, wonderful, inspiring. I learned so much. I'm just really grateful to now be part of your community. And you guys heard it here first, that there might be a little music for the dream game coming your way. Really, thank you from the bottom of my heart and soul. And when I listen to your music, I'm going to be listening to it and with even new, more vibrant ears now, getting to know your story and some of your truth. So I'm honored. Again, I'm honored.
Well, I want to thank you and for being very authentic. You are very natural. I just felt like we was, in a living room, just having a very open conversation. And it's not an interview, it's a conversation. But, I would just say to you, thank you for using your platform to really help those others to be able to dream and have a vision. And like you said, the powers are in numbers, and it takes a village. And so thank you for everything. Looking forward to keeping in contact with everyone on the social media, but also, coming to your city or a city near you. I know upcoming we'll be in DC and Atlanta, but looking forward to performing. There's nothing like live performance, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, and we're looking forward to staying in touch too with you. And I'm looking forward to staying in touch and sharing out and blasting out wherever you're going to be. And also when you come to the area, I will be there if I can, God willing. I will be there to see you live. What a treat and what a pleasure that will be. Well, you know what, dreamers? I know you feel it too. You don't want it to come to an end, but all good things must come to an end. But really, it's also a new beginning because we are going to continue on with Dreamers Unite in the studio right here. And as André said it best, these are not interviews. These are just open-hearted, authentic conversations so that you can learn and you can grow. So as usual, we welcome you to please, hey, listen, hit the subscribe button, support us, and just follow us and continue to follow André Ward. Continue to get his music. Don't forget Africa Rising. And until next time, I will see you right here in the studio with Dreamers Unite. And thank you always for spending time with me.